It's 2024, Inktober, and it's time to get going. Day one. But before we do, why don't we just put our toys away in the real atomic toy chest of doom? Put Kong away and put, well, you know what? Maybe we'll just leave Donald out for a little bit of inspiration. I think you'll see why in a minute. I'm a newbie at this. I've never tried Inktober before. I've kind of sat on the sidelines. In fact, last year, I actually went ahead and purchased this kit, not because I don't already have a million markers and a million fine liners, but because I wanted to kind of do the official version of Inktober, and I was looking for an official kit. I don't know if I succeeded or not, but I actually like what came in this kit. So for this, let me just go over my tools real fast here. I've been using a variety of pencils. In fact, I started out with a couple old tried and trues. This is a 2H, and this one's a 3H. And they both gave a very kind of a sketchy result. In fact, let me turn to my first page. This is day one, and the prompt for it is backpack. So this is what I came up with. So and now you're probably noticing the duck and why we kept Donald in the frame, okay? I was looking for something to connect all 31 drawings. Here are the prompts. Some people have been very happy with them, some people a little bit less. I do know that there's some things in them which could be seen as redundancy. I'd rather kind of think of it as a challenge and maybe a way, because there are prompts that are so similar, to kind of create a connecting narrative. So to do that, I wanted to have a connecting character. And for this first time out, what better than a duck? You've got the grand reputation of everything from Carl Barks and Donald to Howard the Duck and there and back again. So I started this with this character, and this was the first drawing I did. And I also lately have been reading a lot of underground comics. This is called the Apex Treasury of Underground Comics. It's actually vintage. It's from the era of underground comics. Before I make a liar out of myself, let me just check the publication date. Yeah, there we go. You can see that right there, 1974. So this one has a lot of Robert Crumb, our Crumb. You may be familiar with him. And I decided that I wanted to do a style that was not only cartoony, but maybe not in the Disney style, kind of inspired by the various ducks which have come and gone. But I want to do it a little bit more in the underground style. And what do I mean by that before we get inking? Well, let's just open up to this first page of the book, which contains some actual examples of comics. We got Mr. Natural, which is kind of a, probably the premier character when you think of our Crumb. But if you look at the style here, look at this figure. Very, very heavy lines on the outline. Very, very thick. Don't really change their width at all. Kind of a very design or cartoony approach to the outlining there. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to have a very thick outline, and we're not going to vary it very much. Maybe on the bottom it's slightly heavier than the top, but boy, there just isn't a lot of difference. But then after that, extremely heavy inking. Very, very dense. So, of course, this is black and white. So if we're trying to go for something which is in color, the way he's achieving that is not with some sort of grayscale, like a grayscale marker that we would use today, a gray marker. But what he's doing is he's just using ink lines. And the closer the lines are together, the more it kind of gives the illusion of a dark color or a gray. And then the wider apart they are, you can get a lighter effect, and you can go all the way to just black, very solid inking, which isn't even crosshatch. Most of our Crumb's lines are not, if you're looking at this example anyway, there's no cross-hatching there. He's using straight lines in a very interesting way, like I say, to get that gradation. So I think that's what I'm going to go for. And also, with the cartoony characters that you'll see in the underground, there are, obviously everyone's very different, but there are some elements that keep on showing up. And this is one of them. You see it in our Crumb. Very bottom heavy. Obviously, this is not, we're not going for exact cinema verite, if you will. This isn't exactly like a person, right? Look at the size of the feet, look at the size of the legs, even giving 1974 and the existence of bell bottoms. That's a little bit of extreme. You see this in Crumb, you see it in other artists, you see it in Bode, and if you're not familiar with him, he did Cheech Wizard and a lot of other things. Maybe if I get a chance, I'll insert a picture of one of his creations or a few more, and you'll see that same kind of bottom heavy look. So if you look at the way I drew this, and again, I'm using the very scratchy, very sketchy pencils that I started with, because quite frankly, what did I have a design? No, I grabbed what was around me, and I just happen to have these laying about. And that's what I've got here. So the first thing I want to do, and by the way, also notice here, this duck is not like a Carl Barks duck, which is something between a man and an animal. Yes, it's anthropomorphic, but a little bit more on the animal side. If you look at Donald here, and look, we have Donald here, you'll see that the body actually mimics the animal to a certain degree. The head is obviously oversized, but what I've gone for is something that's a little bit more like a man with a duck head or a mask. So we're going to go with that. So I'm just going to today, I'm not going to ink the entire thing. I just want to do a little bit of inking every day on the different pictures, show you what I'm concentrating on, and we'll go from there. So let's start with this. I'm going to use this pen right here, which is, if I remember right, let me look at the tip. I'll cheat. You put this right up to there. And this is the Bimo G Fude pen. And what I like about this one, and I think you would too if you have it, is it gives a thick line, but it also, you can change the line with the pressure, which you can't always do. You can do it, but very often you'll deform a felt tip end. I like this pen a lot, and I think we're going to see how this works. If I don't like it, we'll end up going to a thicker marker to get those thick, cartoony lines that I was just talking about. But let's see how this does. Before I do, let's switch to some close glasses, as I call them, so I can see a little bit better. So we're just going to outline this right now. I'm going to start over here with the bill. Very regular line. I can change the width of the line. You can see that going on a little bit right now. By varying the pressure, it does work that way. But I'm not going to change it as much as I would in, say, a brush pen by altering the pressure, or rather changing the attitude of the brush itself. I'm not going to be doing that, which is good because the type of artwork that I'm trying to go for right now is not terribly brushy. I'm liking this. This is giving me that look that I wanted to go for. Good. And of course, the whole theme to this one is backpack, and you can see the backpack there. Let's just put the eyes in, since that's going to be a pretty solid piece anyway. Talk more about that later. And let's keep following up here. Obviously, what you're seeing here is a guitar. And I feel as though, I'm sorry, I'm off the screen a little bit. I feel as though I don't have to go in one direction with this pen, this marker. I can go in more than one direction. I can go backwards and forwards, and I don't feel as though I'm stressing really the tip. And again, we're being very cartoony here. I'm not trying to do something that's ultra realistic. Okay. Let's see here. Probably noticed that I did write on here, and I wrote the phrase "keep on," and then here's my little change up for R. Crumb. He famously has that image of someone walking. It's in a different direction. It's actually towards you, but it says "keep on trucking." And what I've got going on here, coming out of the backpack, is a K for keep on ducking. And believe it or not, try and work that concept of ducking, kind of getting away with things or getting out of situations with the story that occurred to me that I'm connecting as a single narrative. All right, I like that. So you can see a little bit of what I'm talking about. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's do some of that lines to kind of form a different color. So here we've got a shirt, a t-shirt, that I want to be a darker color. In fact, I kind of want it to be like a concert t-shirt, black. So I'm not going to fill it in with solid black. I could, but what we're going to do instead is we're going to go for, see how black we can get just with lines. And by the way, that's another really nice thing about this pen, is you can get, with a gentle touch, very, very, very thin lines. Almost so much that, I have over there a Mangaka 003. I'm not even really tempted to switch to it. I feel like I can do almost everything just with this one Fude pen. All right, my lines are a little bit more regular, maybe, than what Crumb was doing. He was a little bit more organic, and we'll see if we can get a little bit more of that going, but a little bit of black in there. Okay, you can see how that kind of gives you a little bit of a shade of color. It's not totally black. I can do that by adding more lines instead. I know I just talked about using this, but let's switch to the other pen. So this is the Mangaka or Mangaka 003. I don't know how that's pronounced. Let's see if we can even get finer. Get a couple more lines. Not a lot thinner, but a little bit. Yeah, okay. I like that. All right. Nice. Okay, so this one's running over 12 minutes. That's about enough. I just want to kind of show you what I'm doing. I think the plan is that after I do inking on all of these, and you can see I've kind of gone ahead and done a lot of drawings. By the way, this is with my mechanical pen. You can see my normal lines are a whole lot less sketchy, a lot finer. But when we're all done, we'll kind of do a reveal. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the final product. And I hope you're doing Inktober. I hope everybody is who has any desire to. Have a great day. There's a whole lot more in the Real Toy Chest of Doom. Gently tap the subscribe button to ensure that you're not shut out from any of the play. Cheers.